my sense with you, in fact, you were talking about it right, before we started recording of this this experience that you have teaching, right? Of like one of the best, essentially like one of the most expressive moments or best moments, right? Are those moments where someone's eyes kind of they see
Exactly.
something they hadn't seen, right? It's usually that sense of this is what I really like about phenomenology is it's usually insights into what is most close to us, right? That
Exactly. Hmm.
that like is gone is like concealed in its nearness in some sense,
Yep.
and that there's a share for my experience with that, um like having being a teacher in circling, which involves a lot of like interpersonal kind of insights, and with dialogos and the stuff that I'm doing now with John and Chris, John Vervaeke and Chris, um that there's something communal about those insights, right? Like
Hmm.
it's like it's like to get an insight, that to experience an insight that you're having, right? To the extent that I see the same thing, it's like simultaneously my insight, right?
Exactly.
And there's something
Yep.
very bonding about that, I've noticed, right? When people have insights together, there's something really, really disclosive and bonding about that in a
I
big
agree.
way. So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. That. Go ahead.
no, that's it.
Well, yeah. So I have two thoughts about that, or maybe three. I mean, the first one is again that I think that's very right. I think when you see something together, you often can't really separate that. You don't really want to separate that experience of recognizing that thing and the fact that you were sharing the experience with another person. So I think that's very true. It's certainly true in these moments of profound philosophical insight, but it's true in other things too. Like when you go to whatever New York City for the first time, and you go to a cool bar or a cool restaurant with someone. Like it's there's something about discovering together that is what makes it worthwhile.
Yeah.
You want to be with that person finding things, and when you find things, you want you want to share it. So I think that notion that these moments of insight commonly also have a kind of communal character is good. And yeah, you were because you were referring to what I was saying about my teaching, that like I really think that teaching works when I'm able to present things and I get the sense that students in the class are sort of going, oh, I get it, and it matters to
Yeah.
them. And that is the same thing. Like I feel like I've really failed if I don't get them to
Yeah.
feel like they're doing something with me in that case.
Yeah.
And I also think, for them, when they have that, they people do go away remembering, well, yeah, that's I did that with that guy,
Yeah.
like with me,
Yeah.
and I think that
Yeah.
becomes part of it. So I think that's very real. And so that made me think of two other things.
Mhm.
It made me think that I find it very interesting how much, I mentioned, discovering something, in New York City or San Francisco or wherever you go for the first time. Also, just about any time, it seems to me, this is certainly true for me, but I think it's true for most people. When you learn a new thing, or when you see a new thing that you think is wonderful, part of the experience of the excellence of that thing is that you want to share it.
Yeah.
Like the very nature of those moments of recognition is that they come with this desire to get someone else to see it too,
Yeah.
like your best friend or
Yeah.
whatever. So I think there is something, there's some intrinsic connection there between the nature of those sort of epiphanies and the experience of being with
Sharing.
others.
Yeah.
Yeah, sharing. and
Yeah.
and so I had one last thought that I would mention, and that is that this comes up a bit in that book, Sites of Exposure, but also in some other things I've written. I've been, for many years, I've been very interested in just the basic phenomenon of religion and trying to figure out,
Mhm.
what is that,
Yeah. What's going
and
on there?
we have, pardon me.
Yeah, what's going on there? Yeah.
Yeah, what's going on there? Yeah. So we have kind of everyday views about that, about well, people have their theories about
Yeah.
God or afterlife, whatever. Those That's fine. But I sort of wonder, like, where does this come from in the sort of human spirit? And I think my own view is that, sort of speaking anthropologically, I think of religions as the way some community has same kind of thing, a sort of shared insight about what really matters, what
Mm,
reality is like, and how we fit into it. So I don't really think of religion at its roots as being about claims about the afterlife or that sort of thing. I think it's much more basically about
yeah.
uh, people being struck by something profound about what
Yeah.
matters in the world and how that affects us, and those things are shared. And so I think in that way that religion religions are often the basis of communities. Like, it's people who are getting together and recognizing themselves as a people or as a community because they're sharing
Yeah.
this sense or this recognition. So anyway, so those are just a few thoughts I have, just kind of riffing off your point, because I think, again, the thing you said uh, seems right on to me, that there is some connection between those moments of epiphany and the kind of communal experience, like either between two people or in a group of people. I think that's really profound connection.